Mind, Body, and Soul, an A&D conversation. Hosts Annette Harris and Apostle Dion Hunt are ready to bring you some exciting new content. Get ready to talk, laugh, live, and love with conversations you can interact with, shows you can plan, and news you can use. Tune in every Tuesday and Thursday at www.intellectualradio.com. Connect with us on Facebook at Mind, Body, and Soul, an A&D conversation, on Instagram at Mind, Body, Soul AD, and via email at mindbodysoulad@gmail.com.
If you need wisdom for the mind and deep down in your soul, tune in for the ride. It's mind, body, and soul. An Andy conversation. An Andy conversation.
Well, good afternoon, good evening.
Evening.
Yeah, it's in the evening, right?
It's in the evening.
We're here. All right, we're live. Hey there. Thank you for joining us on this evening. You're listening to Mind, Body, and Soul. It's an A&D conversation. And we are here at IntellectualRadio.com. There are ways that you can listen to us on this evening. We'll be here for a couple of hours, roughly until about 7 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on tonight. And you can listen to us on the website. You can go to IntellectualRadio.com, and you can also go to the Facebook Live. What I'm doing right now, Apostle Hunt is on live, and I'm going to share it to my page, and then we will also share it to our other groups that we have. So we don't want you guys to miss us. So when you do come into the live feed, please go ahead, like and share. We would really, really appreciate it. I am Annette Harris, and next to me is
Apostle Dion Hunt.
Is that right? Is that who you are?
That be me.
That be you. That be
me.
you. And we're just here to have a simple conversation with you on your ride home. So let someone know that we're on the air. Would you do that for us? Go ahead and like and share. What do I always say? It costs you nothing. So please do that for us. We're excited tonight because we have a few things that we are going to venture into, and we want each of you to participate on tonight. Please do not leave us here by ourselves, especially in tonight's conversation. Our main topic.
We need some back and forth conversation between us two and all y'all out there.
Right. So we say A&D conversation. So see your way in, right?
Absolutely.
See your way in.
See your way in.
We would appreciate that. All right. I see you guys coming in. Pastor CC. Oh, I would have loved to have had you here in the studio tonight. Thanks for watching. Michelle Thomas. Thanks for watching. Lonnie, I believe I see that.
Prophet Lonnie Davis.
Prophet Lonnie Davis.
Yes,
Excuse
Pastor.
me. Thank you for watching.
Prophet
We appreciate
Pastor.
you. All right. Rolanda's on, and Brandy McCord. And I know you guys gonna go ahead and share this. So we just thank you in advance. So Apostle, you're doing okay?
Oh my God.
Talk to me now.
I'm doing okay right now.
You're doing okay right now.
But when I say traffic was a beast.
Was it
tonight,
a beast?
Yeah.
Did it beat you?
I won though.
You won?
I won.
Because you made it.
Because I made it.
He made it. Oh, sorry. Well, that's good. I'm glad you made it here in one piece. I'm glad because you had some things to do before the show, and we here at A&D appreciate you and all of your assistance.
Thank you.
For
Thank you.
making
My
everything
pleasure.
come together. We appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now, I'm going to give out the call-in number just so that you will have it, because normally you see it right behind us, but it is 708-223-8953. Again, 708-223-8953. Because when we get into tonight's topic, as we've said already, I don't know why I'm talking like that, but as we've said already, we want you all to participate. So let's do this. Let's hop on over to some current events.
Please,
how about that?
Let's do that.
If you all can see the look that Apostle is giving me right now.
Y'all, this topic.
I think Apostle's nervous.
I've been looking like this ever since I found out what the topic was going to be. And let me just say, it was not my idea, but I'm all in. I'm all in.
Okay, when I stop laughing, we're gonna get but okay, all right. So let's see here. I am going to go to our current events. Maybe that'll kind of loosen us up a little bit here. Michelle Thomas, thank you so much for supplying us with our current events. Let's see here. Tonight, I see the first news is a woman with concealed carry license fatally shoots would-be robber in Fernwood. Okay, let me see why this is pretty important. What, Fernwood is in Chicago? Okay. A woman fatally shot a man who was trying to rob her at a bus stop Tuesday morning in Chicago's Fernwood neighborhood. The shooting and attempted robbery occurred at a bus stop in the 500 block of West 103rd Street. Oh, that's like not too far from Roseland, I think. Is that right? Or am I going in the wrong direction? I don't know. It said the incident was captured by surveillance video. The victim, a 25-year-old woman, was waiting for her bus when a 19-year-old man attempts to rob her at gunpoint. The woman, who has a concealed carry license, was armed as well.
Okay.
So the video shows as they struggle, she pulled out her gun and shot him in the neck. Woo-hoo! Wow. What do you guys think about that? This is quite interesting.
Wow.
She was defending herself.
And I'm not sure what the laws are here concerning that. You know, down south and in Florida and the southern states, they have the stand your ground law. And forgive me because I'm usually up on stuff like that, but be interesting to see how that's played out.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it said the suspect took off running down the street and she ran in the opposite direction. Now the police found him and transported him to Christ Hospital where he's pronounced dead.
Wow.
So interesting. Someone says here it's tragic that he did die, but the lady had to do what she had to do. She's on a bus stop, probably going to work, and she has to encounter that early in the morning. And that to me is it makes you so leery. I was trying to see if that was 6:15 a.m. So yeah, you're going, you're trying, like they said, she's probably just trying to get to work, doing her thing. She's not out there bothering anybody. That's him. So, I mean, I'm not trying to be funny or anything, but
I'm glad she was able to protect herself.
That was a nice way to say it.
I'm glad,
because I was going to say something else.
I'm glad she was able to protect herself.
You get what comes to you. No, let me stop. Okay, Brandy says here, y'all are going to stop playing with innocent people. And I agree with her. You can't just think that you're going to walk up on somebody. You see this woman, basically, and you're my innocent woman, and you think you can overtake her when she has something else for you. Uh-oh. Don't want to speak ill of the dead, but you got to watch yourself. All right, so
watch this. Let me.
Watch that. What is it?
I found something today.
What you get?
And look at this. Second black man found dead at the home of a political activist, Ed Buck. I don't know if y'all been following this.
Buck? Who's Ed Buck?
He's a political activist. He's affiliated with the Democratic Party out of California. It says a man was found dead Monday morning at the same West Hollywood apartment of prominent Democratic Party donor Edward Buck, where another man died of an overdose about 18 months ago. Buck was present for both deaths, but has since not been charged. We need answers. We want justice. Who
is Buck? I'm not familiar with him.
He's a political donor out of West Hollywood.
Okay.
And rumor has it that he has had a lot of affiliations with I don't know what they call them, the male version of a call girl, male escorts.
Wow.
And they have gotten he prefers young black men. And this is the second young black man that has died in his presence in 18 months. And I believe it was the same, I think it was an overdose. So they're playing around with drugs and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
And he pushes them to their limits.
Really?
And they end up dying.
And
so I'm saying this, we only know of two.
Right.
So ain't no telling.
Come
what's
on
going
now.
on there.
There was a John Wayne Gacy, okay?
Well,
Watch out now.
And no justice was served for the first one.
Right.
So I think that's very interesting story to watch.
It really is. Now, you said no justice was served for the first one, but I mean, don't be surprised.
Yeah.
Like you said, there could be more.
Yeah.
And don't be surprised that, any of them get justice, whoever they find.
Yeah.
Because the color of the skin, they're not going to really hop on that too fast.
Yeah. And then when you never know what certain people's mindsets are. If you view me as expendable,
right?
Young black male, he's in this industry, he's in this culture. Nobody's gonna come looking for him, or people are gonna be slow to look for him.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so that makes him vulnerable for someone who is who is seeking out that type of prey. So
right. Exactly. I see you guys coming in. Let me recognize a few people. As you're coming in, we are going over our current events right now before we head into our main topic on tonight. Angeline Lane, Buddy Gill, thanks for watching. Let's see. Oh, good evening back at you, Buddy Gill, and Happy New Year to you. He's such a nice guy. That's my friend. Kanan, thanks for watching. Hey there. Let's see. Marcus and Carmen have something going on this weekend. I'm so excited for you guys. Candy Rain, thanks for watching. We appreciate you. She says, hello, Apostle from Michigan. Tradonna McAllister, thank you for watching. I see a super producer on here, Earl the Other Winfrey. Thank you for watching on tonight. Appreciate you. All right, let's see here. Okay, I had another story that I wanted to, this was interesting. Let's see. The title of this story is Daughter Confronts Mommy Blogger About Online Posts. Now that's a switch, because typically the parents are confronting their children. It says here, in this age of social media, parents post about their kids, from baby pictures to cute posts about school, maybe some embarrassing moments. It's all become habit and part of our digital culture. One mom's blog in the Washington Post is making some waves and making a lot of us think about what we post about our little ones. Christy Tate says when her 4th grade daughter stumbled on her mom's posts over the years, she was furious. She says her daughter asked her to stop writing about her life and posting pictures of her. I'm sorry.
Now, she sounds like my kids, though.
Are you serious?
Yeah, my kids, every time I take a picture of them, they're asking me, is this going on social media?
Seriously?
Yeah. So
now, isn't that a switch?
It's a switch. It is. But, they my kids.
Right. So they're your kids.
I'm proud of them.
And right. And I know a lot of people have reservations about putting their children on social media, which, I can totally understand that. But then sometimes I'm sure you want to celebrate their successes. Absolutely. And different things like that. And so there's an extent, that you would go to or would not go to. But this child right here, she was very upset. So they said the mother's a blogger, and she always grappled about the ethics of it and how her kids would feel when they were grown. She says she told her daughter the truth about her work. As a writer, she says she is not done exploring motherhood, and she can't promise she won't touch on her own life. And that includes her kids. But she did make a promise. As a family, as a team, she would now ask her daughter's permission going forward.
Okay.
How'd that sound to you? You with kids? You gonna ask your kids going forward? No, I see the look on your face.
I'm glad she's doing that.
I tried, Benjamin. I tried. What's your daughter's name? Sophia. I tried. But he's probably going to continue to post. Let's see here. Pastor Christine Hunt, how are you, sweetie?
Lord, my mama.
Pastor Christine, are you sticking around for the topic? No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Let's see. Angela says she's on the train, so she will be. Oh, okay. That's fine. Please rewind when you get a chance. We appreciate you. Elkin
Upchurch Collins. I went to college with him.
Oh, hi. How are you? Thanks for watching.
One of my college buddies.
We appreciate you. Dr. Hill is on. Dr. Hill, we already had this conversation. No. Okay, let's see here. Brandy says, my kids give me the business about posting about them too. It got to the point where I had to start blocking them from my posts. Really now? And she did a hashtag because I'm a post.
Yeah, well, they're not on social media. So
your children?
No, so they don't know.
Now, let me tell you this. Hey, Melissa, thanks for watching. I have two young twin cousins. They're like 6 years old. So when they were younger, maybe a couple of years ago, their parents would always take pictures or whatever and stuff. And then one of them, she goes through these phases and she's like, no, I don't want any pictures. I don't want any pictures. And they were like, why? Because I don't want it on Facebook. She's like all of 3 or 4 saying this.
Wow.
Because she knew where they were going to automatically post it, right? And then the other week, she wasn't feeling well, and her mom had posted about it. So I saw her at church. I said, how are you feeling, little one? Wait, how did you know? Was it on Facebook?
That's the day and age that we live in.
I cannot. These children are funny.
So
yeah, that's an interesting story. Let's see if anything else of significance here. Dr. Hill, I see you saying you're incognito. I don't think you are. Okay.
Are you really incognito if you announce that you're incognito? Is that a real status? You're incognito and you're announcing it.
Oh gosh, right. I know. Isn't that funny? That is hilarious. Okay, now this is kind of sad. Arizona parents sue dentist after 2-year-old dies after getting crowns. Oh.
Wow.
This family says they want justice after a year after their 2-year-old son died after a dental procedure. A new lawsuit is taking aim at everyone involved in the operation. Zion, which is 2 years old, passed away 4 days after a visit to Cool Smiles Dental Clinic in Yuma, Arizona on December 16th, 2017. Everybody just is broken, Zion's mother said. We're not okay. Let's see. They said he needed crowns for a severe case of cavities and was placed under anesthesia by a Phoenix-based anesthesiologist contracted by Cool Smiles. The dentist told officers the procedure went well and lasted for about 35 minutes. But he became unresponsive after the procedure and was rushed to the hospital. He was flown to Phoenix Children's Hospital and was pronounced dead on December 20th. Medical malpractice lawsuit has been filed, and they said this is a death that could have been prevented and should have been prevented. This baby was 2 years old with a mouth full of cavities.
Wow.
Now I'm okay. Please don't mistake what I'm asking. I don't want to put blame or anything on the parents, but that throws me off right there.
Yeah.
Immediately.
Yeah.
I don't know what else could have been.
But I've heard stories too about young children dying after receiving anesthesia. Anesthesia. Yeah.
Yeah.
The last story I heard, the child was about 5 years old. And so that's something that you really have to be careful about. Yeah. That's really sad.
They said they're alleging that he suffered brain damage caused by a lack of oxygen.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's a procedure, and God forbid, anything can happen with procedures. It really can. Let's see, anything exciting in here? I don't know. There's unfortunately, a lot of death. 3 kids killed at a bus stop. Okay, let's go to Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart apologizes again amid Oscars hosting conversation. Now, I saw him the other day. He was on Ellen the other day, a couple of days ago. Or was it Monday? What's today? No, I think it was Friday when I saw him on Ellen. And she basically had him on, so that, because, I guess they're really good friends or something like that. But I guess to kind of explain again what he was dealing with, but she's kind of like on his side. And she actually, they said she called, the people at the Oscars or whatever to try and get him, the job back or whatever. Right. And he comes on and he's like, I don't understand why people are still like, talking about this, basically kind of, he's like, it's something that happened a while ago. And he had actually apologized for it. But when it came up with the Oscar thing, they wanted him to apologize again. He was like, I'm not doing it.
Well, from his perspective, what I gathered is that he felt like it was all orchestrated.
Right.
And so somebody connected maybe even with the Oscars or, because as soon as it was publicized, I guess, that he was going to be hosting, then all of this past dirt just starts showing up on social media
Yeah.
from years and years ago, and he had already
You said
addressed
just
it.
start showing up. You mean they start digging?
They started digging,
Right.
coincidentally started showing up. So
Right.
they started digging, and the fact that he was just basically saying, okay, at some point we have to make a stand. And so now the people at the Oscars, they want me to apologize again for something that I've already apologized for. I've made adjustments. I'm not, doing or saying those things anymore. I realized that they were offensive, and I said that I was sorry. Let's move on. And I think Nick Cannon brought something up that was really, really significant. He said, have the Oscars apologized for, 30, 40, 50 years ago when blacks, African Americans couldn't even sit, even if you were nominated for an award, you had to sit in the back.
Right.
Yeah. You couldn't sit with everybody else, even if you were nominated for even if you won.
Right.
And so have they apologized for that? And so I think at a certain point, it was about him making a stand. And when you look at it that way, I kind of, I'm on his side.
I am too. But you know what? When I got through listening to him on Ellen, he apologized again.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to do the Oscars. I think he's put his foot down.
Yeah. So. I was glad he took a stance, but I just didn't want anybody to back him up into, a corner to make him do what they wanted him to do when he had already done it, just like you were saying. So I don't know. Hey, Anita, thanks for watching, sweetie. Appreciate you being on. Let's see. There were some comments on the earlier current event. I see Michelle says that's the spirit talking through those kids. She's laughing. Brandy says, I swear I was thrown by the 2-year-old with a whole mouth full of cavities. Yeah, me too. I didn't really understand that. Candy says some children have tooth root due to sleeping with bottles in their mouths. If he had a mouthful of cavities, that's pretty questionable along with the surgery. Okay. Yeah. I don't have children, so that's why I was asking that question. I just didn't understand that. Teresa, hey, thanks for watching. Michelle says, unfortunately, sis, that's the world we live in. Not much good news is published. Okay, yeah, I thank you, sweetie. Appreciate you for grabbing what you could. Any comments on the Kevin Hart story that we just read about? It's kind of sound like it's getting a little bit redundant here, but I think somebody's president is coming on TV tonight. Anybody want to hear about that? That's okay. I'm not going to read anything about that. It's crazy how things are being affected, though. By this partial government shutdown. And to me, it's like, where does partial come in at?
The ripple effect of this shutdown. I don't even think they really considered it. Even when you look at the travel industry, TSA workers and people who work airports and all of that stuff, Homeland Security, all that stuff, there's a ripple effect. And if we're doing this because of a wall that we want to build at the border, it's all about national security and the safety of our country, where you're making us vulnerable now because of this government shutdown. Now, again, national security is affected. And so I don't think it was well thought out. I don't. Think.
You think?
I'm
Look who
surprised.
did it. All right. Brittany says, yeah, we straight. Next topic. Hey, Demetria, thanks for watching. Let's see here. Candy says he'll keep selling out. Oh, in your opinion. Okay, regarding Kevin Hart. Yeah, that's how some people feel that he may do. I don't know. But yeah, maybe he'll stick to his guns. Family returns home from holiday travel to find a stranger living in their home who claims he owns it. What kind of mess is this?
Lord have mercy.
What? All right. A family returning home from holiday travel got an unwanted surprise as they tried to open the door to their house. The key wouldn't work, and the man inside told them he now owned the home. Janice Henson said the man who she said had changed the locks told her he had a gun and wanted her to leave her Cobb County, Georgia home. When police arrived on scene during the bizarre Wednesday encounter, the man, later identified as 26-year-old Nathaniel Jacob Knuckles, and say his whole name, allegedly also told police he would shoot them. Uh-oh, somebody's got a problem here. After a 5-hour standoff, police said SWAT officers busted through the front door of the house and used the robot to locate the accused squatter. Are you serious? So he went and hid.
Wow.
Then he surrendered. Okay, he's got some mental issues. Look at that picture.
There's another story that's floating around too about a nanny.
What about her?
She ended up squatting. She was hired as a nanny for the family, and when it came time for the family to move on, they didn't need her services anymore. She wouldn't move out.
Is that recent or is that?
It's recent.
Really?
Yeah. And she wouldn't move out, and every time they would ask her about it, she would just kind of nod her head and just wouldn't say anything, go in the room and close the door.
Wow.
And so squatters' rights, that's a real thing. They got rights.
Yeah, but this man was just all off his bonkers.
Yeah.
They just said he moved all the pictures, emptied the drawers, making the house his. Tommy, he left them notes thanking them for their key and for allowing him to live there. It was his house now. I think somebody needs to put him in a mental institution and get him some help there. So kind of interesting. Michelle says here, Kevin needs to stick to his guns. The LGBTQ community wants to force their way of life and acceptance on everyone and can say what they want, but want everyone else to keep quiet. And if I can give you 5 thumbs up on that one, I will, because I totally agree with that. That is exactly how they do. Hey, Pastor Rhonda. Pastor Ron, I appreciate you watching. We're looking forward to you on tomorrow.
Yes.
Let's see. Dr. Hill says people can legally take your home. Oh, that's a statement. Very interesting. Back up talking about the anesthesia. Elkin says anesthesia is used in small kids because they cannot take the shots. The real issue is the anesthesiologist's review of oxygen levels on small children. Yeah. Okay. Not to mention the reaction to the drugs varies child to child.
Come on through, Ken.
Yeah, that's true. That's very unfortunate. And definitely be praying for that family because I'm sure that's a lot to go through. Candy says squatting equals adverse possession in Georgia. Wow. Really? Wow. Okay. D'Amica, hey, thanks for watching. Linda Rhodes, we appreciate you. How are you guys doing this evening? So what we're going to do, because we want to get right into our topic, we just did a little current events to open us up on this evening and to get Apostle ready for the for the topic on tonight. You see it. Mm-hmm. You see it. All right. We're here, guys, and we're going to be talking about a very, very interesting conversation on tonight, a topic that is much needed.
I'm ready.
You ready?
I'm ready.
I am so glad to hear you say that because we're gonna have you take it away. No, I'm just kidding. No, we're gonna talk about this. It may seem a taboo subject, to so many people. But we're gonna be talking about in Christian marriages, what is acceptable or not acceptable in the bedroom. That's basically. So we're talking grown folk conversation tonight. Okay. This is grown folk. And if you get children on, tell them to go to their rooms. No, seriously, we're going to talk grown talk tonight. And we both want to hear what you all have to say on this topic. As we stated earlier, don't leave us.
And don't be scared, because you know what? Y'all wanted to hear this.
Yes.
Y'all wanted us to talk about it. So don't be somewhere with your mouth covered now.
Okay.
Call in and let's have a discussion about this.
Let's have a discussion. And we will. Melissa says, oh, yeah, I had to see this one. I'm glad you're here. What we're going to do right now is actually take a quick break, because what I want to do is to play a little clip. Yeah, it's just a couple of, I don't even think it's 2 minutes, maybe, clip. So we're going to take I guess.
The following is a presentation of Got Questions Ministries.
What is a Christian couple allowed to do in sex? The Bible says that marriage should be honored by all. and the marriage bed kept pure. For God will judge the adulterer and all the sexually immoral. Hebrews 13 verse 4. Scripture never says what a husband and wife are or are not allowed to do sexually. Husbands and wives are instructed, do not deprive each other except by mutual consent and for a time. 1 Corinthians 7 verse 5. This verse perhaps lays down the principle for sexual relations in marriage. Whatever is done, it should be mutually agreed upon. No one should be encouraged or coerced to do something he or she is uncomfortable with or thinks is wrong. If a husband and wife both agree that they want to try something, for example, oral sex, different positions, sex toys, etc., then the Bible does not give any reason why they cannot. There are a few things, though, that are never allowable sexually for a married couple. The practice of swapping or bringing in an extra, threesomes, foursomes, etc., is blatant adultery. Galatians 5 verse 19. Adultery is sin, even if your spouse allows, approves, or even participates in it. Pornography appeals to the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes, 1 John 2 verse 16, and is therefore condemned by God as well. A husband and wife should never bring pornography into their sexual union. Other than these two items, there is nothing that Scripture explicitly forbids a husband and wife to do with each other as long as it is by mutual consent.
Got Questions Ministry seeks to glorify the Lord Jesus Christ by providing biblical answers to today's questions. Online at gotquestions.org.
Okay. That was pretty thorough.
Excuse me. I'm sorry.
With that
I need some water.
mechanical voice.
That wasn't me.
It was so mechanical. Yeah, I thought a robot was talking.
You thought a robot was talking? Yeah, I think that's how they do that. Let's see. Yeah, so besides being interesting, hey, you guys, did you guys hear that little clip? Okay, this is A&D, but we want you to see your way into this conversation on tonight. Did you hear that clip, and what were your thoughts? Let's start with that clip first, because I know we do have questions that were presented to us that we're going to attempt to answer on this night. And again, we want to engage. So what is a Christian couple allowed to do in sex? Now, I know that we are going to get on tonight various or we should get input from various areas, from the different age groups, and we do already know that certain age groups think a certain way as opposed to other age groups. And I had a few conversations with individuals about tonight's topic before yesterday and a few days ago or whatever, and I'm listening to them. I'm listening to some of the older crew, or whatever you want to call them, and then I'm listening to the younger crew, and I hear a vast difference. Okay, which is not surprising to me at all, because okay, so now, like my parents or my aunts or whatever, people back in the day. Oh, you didn't even talk about anything outside of a missionary position.
You know what? I think that's why this topic is so taboo, is because the different mindsets of different generations, and everybody's different. Everybody thinks different. Everybody's desire level and tolerance level and appetites are different. And we tend to accept what we ourselves accept, you know what I mean, or enjoy. And as the generations continue, the generations are being freer and freer and freer, and there's less inhibitions, if you will, because we've become so what do I want to say? We're not awestruck at certain things before, because everything now, sex is everywhere now.
Yes,
sex is everywhere. It's on the television. It's on the radio. It's in advertisements subliminally, and so I think the tolerance level for the newer generation is different than the tolerance level for the older generation, and that's what's made it somewhat taboo.
Yeah, that has made it taboo. Prophetess Tammy, I see you on. Thanks for watching. Michelle Thomas says here, everything but bring in other people in porn. I was asking your thoughts on the clip that we just heard. What is a Christian couple allowed to do in sex? And that's a simple statement, Michelle. And yeah, I can agree with that. Candy says here, desensitized is the word, no pun intended.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I would agree. I remember someone was telling me that there was this couple in church, older couple, who had been married for number of years, and they were older, and I think they had maybe like 5 children or something like that. The woman or the mother, the wife, said that she was always taught that the husband should not see her body.
Wow.
So whenever it was time for them to have sex, she would get in and get under the covers first, with no clothes on, without him seeing her, because she was taught that you're not supposed to see your wife.
When you talk about what we're talking about is intimacy. And I think intimacy outweighs any kind of sexual desire, so to speak. The sex is really a tool with intimacy as the greatest result.
Okay? Right.
And I think that even when you look at the word intimacy, it deals with knowing someone on the deepest level.
Yes.
And not only knowing that person is not one-sided. Intimacy is not one-sided. Intimacy is on both sides. So not only do I know this person on the deepest level, they also know me on the deepest level. So it's knowing and being known, which requires vulnerability.
Indeed.
And so someone who does not, who wants to stay covered up and wants, that's someone who is afraid of vulnerability, or who has been taught to be afraid or shun vulnerability, because there's no other. I think that's the most vulnerable you can be, is to be exposed.
True.
And so I don't like to get in people's heads, because another thing about me concerning intimacy, and when you talk about conversations like this, you can't it's almost like you want people to come outside of their comfort zone, but you don't want them to be uncomfortable either. So when you talk about intimacy,
you mean within the marriage?
Right.
Okay.
So when you talk about intimacy in the bedroom, and what is okay and what is not okay, that whole piece about consenting adults is huge.
It is.
It's huge. And so is the husband and wife, are they both consenting? And when I say consenting, I don't mean being badgered or nagged into doing something. You know what I mean? If the two are consenting adults, and they are mature and able to accept what they're doing, then all except for the swapping and all that stuff.
Right.
I think that it's okay.
Okay, you said something there when you mentioned about consenting, and so basically, and you said not badgering, but
not nagging, not
badgering, but basically, you want both of them to be willing participants. So, man, I got some questions, but let me hop over here, because we want them to engage too. Can you remember to hold that? Because I have a question about that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Michelle says the generations are freer because parents now talk openly with their children and aren't afraid to talk sex. And I would totally agree with that. Because some generations now some generations now, my mom, she was, under that old regime, and she didn't really talk about it. You had to either talk to her about it, try to pull it out of her, or find the information somewhere else.
Well, I want to talk about why we don't, why some people don't talk about it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's put these down, because we want to make sure we remember them.
I'm sorry, but I want to put my finger there.
Okay.
Because first of all, let me put this out there. I don't care what you do.
Me either.
You know what I mean? I'm a pastor. I'm an apostle. I've been asked this question several times down through the years. I've been asked specific things about, can we do this in our bedroom? And my knee-jerk reaction or response is, I don't care. I don't care. Why are you asking me?
Right.
I'm trying to get the image out of my head.
Well, why they're asking you, because they think it's a sin.
Well, still, I'm trying to unsee
what they've asked, because they probably asked you detailed stuff too.
Detailed stuff. And I think that anybody who cares, oh my God, listen to what I'm saying. Anybody who cares what you are doing with your husband or your wife behind closed doors, as long as it is not harmful, anybody that cares too much got way too much time on their hands. I don't care what you do.
Yeah.
As long as both of you come out healthy, and it is something that draws you two closer, because sex is it's a good thing.
It is.
It's a good thing as long as you follow, sex within the confines of marriage.
Thank you.
God created us to desire one another, and then he was such a master orchestrator, engineer, however you want to call it. He made one built to give and the other built to receive.
Right.
And so we are supposed to desire one another.
Right, exactly.
And as long as you're desiring the right person and it's for the right reasons, I don't care what y'all do when that door is closed.
Right.
And please close the door.
And please close the door. I don't care if you turn upside down or inside out. Just, like you said, nobody comes out hurt. Ooh, Lord Jesus. Okay. And I have so much I want to say, and I want you guys to keep me on track, because I'm looking, comments are popping up, and again, I appreciate you guys coming in. So let's see here. There was a question that was a statement that was made earlier. Michelle said earlier, everything but bringing other people in porn, and then the question was asked, what are the pornography is of them?
So what if they bring
in pornography of their
what if they make in the movie?
Well, yeah, there you go. How about we go there?
Don't sell it.
Right. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Now some people still get scared because they like in today's age, it still can get out some kind of way.
There's a whole movie about that. It's a comedy about a couple who did that, and I guess I never saw the movie.
Oh,
but of course, you don't. Of course, be safe. Be safe. Use sense, common sense. But I think that excitement and things that make the couple happy, I don't care.
Right.
I don't care. I think people who are peering into other people's bedrooms, they got issues themselves.
Major.
Because if you think about it, what biblical guidelines do we have for what is acceptable in the bed? Point to me a scripture that tells me what you can't do in the bedroom.
That's what I've been trying to find
with your husband, with your wife.
No, I shouldn't say I've been trying to find a scripture, but I know that I don't think there's no scripture.
The point I'm trying to make is if God ain't talking about it.
Come on now. I think somebody feel his help now.
If God is not talking about it, then why are we so concerned about it?
Right.
Like I said, as long as ain't nobody getting hurt.
Well, I think it still goes back, Apostle, to the mentality. See, there's a certain type of ignorance that has happened throughout
Mm.
life, throughout the years. And the ignorance, and don't, take that word in a negative sense. Ignorance just simply means unknowing, not knowing. So when people don't really know or understand that intimacy is a part of all of that, it within the confines of your marriage, your home with your husband or with your wife, when they don't understand that intimacy is so important, then they're going to just automatically say, oh, that's nasty.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, why would I do something like that? Like, ew, type thing. But you just talked about the intimacy, and that's what you should have with your spouse.
You know what? He's one of the forefathers in psychology, Sigmund Freud, who basically theorized that every one of us, we have an id. We have a lower personality.
I think we're switching positions here. But you psychology, I'm spiritual. Go ahead.
We have a lower animalistic personality.
Yes.
That's deep within us.
Trying to get out.
And I think that the spiritual side of us, when we look at stuff and consider stuff through that lens, we're taken aback by it.
Right.
And we feel like, and everything has to be spiritualized. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to spiritualize certain things.
Yeah. I know that's right.
Seriously. And it shouldn't have to be. It should not be impressed upon me to play Jesus on the main line. I'm not doing that in the bedroom, because that's not where I'm at.
No,
that's not where you're supposed to. And so I think that we, in this quest to remain holy, we feel like we can't go
stay woke.
We can't go into certain areas.
Right.
When like I said it a few minutes ago, God ain't even talking about it. The word intimacy, the foundation of intimacy is that it's a secret.
Oh, wait.
So whatever me and my wife do that we consent to do behind closed doors, as long as it remains a secret, that is intimacy. That qualifies as intimacy between us.
Right.
Which means the moment I start talking about it, see, this is why you ain't gonna get no details out of me. You know what I mean? Okay. And I don't care to know your details.
Please.
Because the minute you start talking about it, then it's no longer a secret.
It's no longer a secret. Beautiful. I love it. It's
no longer a secret.
I love it. I got the right one in here with me tonight. I don't know why he try to act like he all scary sometimes to talk about something, but
keep your secrets.
Keep your secrets, he say. Okay. All right. Yeah. Just don't keep a secret from your spouse. Okay. Angela. Angela, thanks for watching. Brandy says, see, that's the foolishness that our parents and grandparents were taught that completely jacked up their sex lives. Got their husbands and wives absolutely blind with unfulfilled desire because their partner has been taught that only one way is right. Yeah, and they basically talk about missionary position. And this one woman I heard, look, and I'm getting these stories. Wait a minute. Wait, hold on. Somebody told me that this one mother in the church said that it was a sin for the woman to move during sex. So she just had to lay there. Man, come on now.
I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that.
Okay. I must keep my composure.
I'm sorry to hear that.
He said he's sorry to hear that.
And I'm sorry for that man.
I'm sorry too. So she just had to lay there.
Dr. Hunt taught, and I'm bringing him into this.
I would love to hear his thoughts.
He taught. We had a couple of years ago. I felt the need within my church to have some closed sessions with Dr. Hunt, with our chief apostle, dealing with marriage.
Okay.
Dealing with marriage, and I felt it necessary because I'm counseling couples and I'm seeing the different issues that's that's showing up within the ministry.
Okay.
And we had some closed sessions, couples only, and no children allowed, married couples only. And one of the things that he mentioned, because we were adults, and he said this, we didn't stay there because that's not what it was completely about. But he said every marriage needs good sex.
Bottom line.
Every marriage. And it's not about so much, it's about the intimacy. It's about the closeness. It's about what draws you close. I'm going to tell you something about intimacy in a marriage. It is a mediator. Did you hear what I just said?
Yes.
Intimacy. And
it is a mediator.
It's a mediator. And here's what I mean by that. You can be mad. You can be upset.
But I'm going to throw something at you tonight.
But intimacy will close that gap.
See.
And we think that here's where we mess up. Now, let me just help the married people real quick. We mess up because we think in order for us to come back, then everything has to be, no, we're going to get to the bottom of this. All the issues have to be resolved before we come back and connect.
Talk to us.
But many times connecting despite that creates the common, because we're connected on the deepest level. The deepest level first. Wow. And now this bridge is connected. And now, you know what? Coming out of that, let's talk.
There you go.
And so even how we view intimacy within the marriage, if you don't view it the right way, then it can be a problem, as opposed to something that's a problem solver.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that as to say that sex solves problems, but I'm saying it
helps. It's a mediator.
It's a mediator.
Yes.
It's a mediator.
Now don't go create an argument just so y'all can try this out, what he's saying.
Yeah, try out what I'm saying.
He is saying try it out. But no, that's a very excellent point. Excellent point. And you're teaching us something tonight. This is good. Chris Davenport, thanks for watching. Dr. Hill says, unfortunately, during that time, some were taught that sex was a sin, even with your husband. Yeah, we talked about that.
There was a mentality that said that sex was only used to procreate. It was only used to
right.
conceive.
And so they're going back to the woman who said you're not supposed to see her body, so she would get under the covers. That is so yeah, I'm sorry. I feel sorry for him too. I'm not sure if they're still alive or not, but anyway, Pamela DeBose, thanks for watching. Hey, cousin. Buddy says, whatever makes you too happy, be happy. And that's me right there. Melissa says, I think people are already informed on sex. People aren't waiting until they're married. So you already know what you want. Should be pleased before you get into it. It's not right, but it's still what's going on. It's still. But as long as it's between the two,
right?
Should it even matter?
And what I'm thinking of when I hear her bring that up is, what if two people get married and they are unequally yoked in that area?
Ooh, that was one of my questions.
What if one has an appetite?
Yeah, way up there.
That's off the charts, and the other one
is way down there.
They ain't even got appetite. They just got a tolerance.
Ooh.
I'm telling you, I've counseled a lot of stuff. So what do you do? What do you do with that? Because especially if you were that couple that did not engage before. You didn't know this coming in. And of course, in a perfect world, in a perfect church, people don't do that kind of thing before they get married. But we're living in today. And so
and that's a young person saying that.
Some people are of the mindset that they want to try stuff out because they don't want to say I do till death do us part, and they are unequally yoked.
Yeah, because they want to be equally yoked in their bedroom. They will tell you in a minute. And why shouldn't you be? Well, I'm not advocating premarital. Okay, so don't think that's what I just said.
I got an answer for that, though. But go ahead.
We have a call on the line, A&D conversation.
Hi, A&D. I was waiting for this show. Oh my God, I was waiting.
We're here.
I have a question though.
Yes.
you guys started talking about it as I was calling, the unequally yoked aspect. A lot of saints like to put marriage on the back burner. Sex on the back burner as far as its importance on marriage, in the marriage. We're not going to do that today. And that's what's important about the show that you're having today. Let's not put sex as that's only maybe 5% of the marriage. No, it's not. Because that's where you have issues where one of the spouses is completely unsatisfied. For instance, just imagine you marry somebody and they are your only source of food. That is the only meal and nourishment you're going to get for the rest of your life, because marriage is for the rest of your life. Then you find out that they're only going to be, after you get married, you find out they're only cooking vegetarian meals. Okay, well, that's not what you eat. I need some meat.
I've used that.
So that's a serious issue.
Or they only make bologna sandwiches.
Exactly. That's all you're going to cook for me for the rest of my life. But I'm craving, I'm wanting something else. That doesn't make, that person is not wrong for wanting something else.
No.
So my question is, and I know you were going to get back to this. My question is, well, what if the guy, let me say female, because y'all will be easier on me if I say that. What if the female wants to be more experimental? She wants to try something specific, but the male does not. Let's say either one of them. One of them wants to try some stuff, and the other person does not. Well, in the pros that you guys just played over the phone with a robotic voice, as long as nobody is being inconvenienced or convinced to try something new, I disagree with that. I believe that some people will never, ever try something new unless the person they love says, listen, let's try it. This is something I'm desiring. Can we at least try it? So I feel like you should be able to ask them, because if you don't ask them, who you going to ask? Where are you going to get it from? And you could find out, okay, once that other person tries it, hey, let's try something else. You never know. So I don't think it should be if they never bring it up, then I'm not going to try. And you sitting here wanting and desiring. That's why people start watching porn. And that's why people start having all these issues of they're leaving out the house and can't keep it together because all these other women
going to get the
or
oil change
men
late at night
are giving them the signals and giving them a taste of what they want, and they can't get it from home. So I just wanted to say that. Great show. I'm going to hang up so I can finish listening.
Okay. Thanks for calling, sweetie.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
She said something.
She said a lot.
She said a lot that, we, especially church folk, because we're talking about the saints, we put sex or sexual intimacy on the back burner. And it is something that is way down low on the totem pole. And what we don't understand, and I tell married couples, I counsel and tell them to have sex often, because that's going to keep you connected. When you stop laughing and when you stop having sex, you're going to start growing apart.
Oh my goodness.
And a lot of times the laughter will lead to,
yes,
because laughter is a form of intimacy. People don't understand that.
It is.
And so when you stop being intimate, you start growing apart, and then you're estranged. And then next thing you know, you're just roommates.
Right.
Living. And so what makes my relationship with you or your relationship with me any different than any other friend that I have? No, it's the intimacy, it's the closeness, it's what we share behind closed doors. Every one of us, if you're married, you should have a secret relationship with your spouse. That's the relationship behind closed doors. So there's a relationship that everybody else sees, and then there is a secret relationship that both of us enjoy that goes on behind closed doors. And another thing that she said is as far as wanting to try certain things. I think that, like I said before, it's all about what you are willing to do together. I'm one of those people, and this is not just intimacy. This is me with anything. If you don't want to do it, I don't want you to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's me with anything. If you don't want to give me $1, I don't want your dollar, you know? And so I'm a little funny.
But
that
what
way.
if you want that $1?
What if you
just
need
like
that
she
dollar?
was saying, you know, the one that could be the one person or the one mate that wants to do it, and the other one, and you're like, okay, let's try this, and the other one really doesn't want to try.
You know,
then the person's kind of left there.
You know what I think? I think that
unsatisfied.
If you focus on the intimacy part, intimacy is not there's intimacy, and then there's sexual intimacy. Okay.
True.
And if because you feel like you're not getting sexual intimacy, you then cut off all intimacy. That's a problem. You kind of have to.
I mean, it definitely has to be balanced.
It has to be balanced, because what I'm saying is there's certain things that if our relationship is on a certain level, then you will feel comfortable enough. See that I guess that's my hang up. Ask them, but if they're still not comfortable, don't pressure them. You can't pressure.
Right. You can't pressure if they're not comfortable. But what if they're stubborn?
Well, here's the thing. Because now if they do it because they're pressured into it, it's not intimacy for them. It's a chore for them.
Right. It's a chore for them. But then the other person is still left over there like, okay, you know, and then wait, hold up. Let's back it up a little bit, because okay, you have the husband and wife. Okay, so say the husband really wants to try things, the wife says no. But she's being satisfied in whatever way that they've been doing it. She's continually being satisfied, but he's not. Mm-hmm. What do you do? I mean, because there's
then you talk
it's
about
so
it.
Unequal there, and that's not fair really to both of them.
You talk about it, and I think that people in marriage and intimate relationships ought to make it a practice to do things together that stretch them. You know what I mean? And I think that if you're
outside of the comfort zone
outside of certain comfort zones,
okay,
and stretch them and cause them to see, because we're so layered, and I'm willing to bet that there are people who are in certain relationships and certain marriages that they have certain desires that they are afraid to even tell their spouse because they don't know how they're going to be received. And so you really have to build your intimacy to a point to where you can communicate those things, but you can't badger, you can't force. I remember telling even, husbands and wives, don't, is sex required? Is it necessary? It is not required, but it's necessary.
Okay.
Okay.
That's good.
It's not required, but it is necessary.
Right.
Is it necessary? Yes. But don't you dare. I'm told.
You said it's not required. I think the jury's still out of my mind on that one, but go ahead.
Well, people are married all the time, and they don't have a healthy relationship, though. It's necessary for a healthy marriage.
Right. It's necessary. But I went somewhere else with that. But okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
So what I tell them is, don't you dare take the Bible out and beat your spouse over the head. Open up the Bible and tell them scriptures as to what they should be doing concerning sex in a marriage.
Right.
Don't you dare. I said, because the last thing you're going to want, and I'm saying this for a reason, the last thing you're going to want is for them to do it robotically out of obedience.
Right.
You want somebody that's going to desire.
Right. See, there's a way, and as a woman, that we can handle our husbands as a wife. There is a certain way, and I'm not getting ready to divulge it right now, but women, you know what I'm talking about. Wives, you know what I'm talking about. There's a certain way you handle where, if he is not, maybe he's opposed to some things or whatever, there's a way you can do it to make him desire to want to do certain things. And that's just me talking. Sorry. But anyway, It is. We have certain ways about ourselves.
Yeah.
If I can say it as loosely and lightly as that. That we can I'm not saying manipulate him into doing it, but so that he will engage. It may take a little bit, but he'll engage. After a while he'll really like it, and then he'll start.
I'm seeing all the
it.
hearts, but I don't know.
You don't know what
I ain't got a clue of what you're talking
You don't know what
about.
I'm talking about. Ladies, back me up with this, please. Back me up. Okay, let's see. Okay, there was something on here. Chris Davenport, and maybe we can get into this one about the music. He has a TV show in Arizona, I believe, and he said when he went to the Stellar Awards, because he did a lot of interviewing with the artists, he asked them, should gospel artists make love or intimate music? And I think I remember that, Chris, if you're still on here. I remember you asking them that. Maybe you can share with us. I don't know if you can call in, Chris, to tell us their experience and what they were talking to you about. 708-223-8953. I'd love to hear from you on that. Because when you talk about music, because you mentioned earlier, and I believe this is when this comment came in, you don't want I think you said Jesus on the main line playing. Come on, come on now. I remember, and as you were saying that, I remember someone telling me about someone in their marriage when they got married. They said whenever they would have sex, the one spouse would start speaking in tongues when they were having sex. I'm like, what? Where did that? Huh?
Why?
What's the? I mean, was it that good or something? That's what I mean. That's the reaction. But anyway, you can't have.
Can I say something?
You can.
I'm not even trying to bring the Holy Ghost into that.
The Holy Ghost brought you together. Why you gotta, you gotta preach a message?
The Holy Ghost don't even want to see it. God ain't interested in that. You know what intimacy God is? You know what the intimacy that God is interested in is his intimacy with you.
Okay.
You see.
Yeah.
And so, but you mentioned something about there's a way that the women have with men.
Yes.
That makes certain things easier.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if men have that with women.
Okay.
But I do know that we have a way that makes things more difficult.
Right.
And I'm saying this too because this is another thing that I've had to counsel and say in counseling such. If you want at the end of your day for something to happen, men, you want something to happen.
Right.
Okay. Women are more psychological.
Yes, we are. We have to think it through.
Especially the older a woman gets, they lead with their minds, even if they overthink it.
Mm-hmm.
It's still what they lead with.
Yes.
And if you don't appeal to her thinking, then you kind of, you're not on the right track. And so what some men do is you can't fuss a woman out.
Come on now.
You can't beat her over the head verbally, if you will, or naturally.
Right.
And then at the end of the day, want her to desire you to the fullest.
Yes.
Because a lot of times she's going to carry that discomfort or that frustration or that hurt or that attack even. She's going to carry it and not feel up to the task, if you will. And so that whole thing, men are from Mars,
women are from Venus.
That's a real thing.
It is real.
We think,
sometimes I don't know where y'all come from.
Now men are more men are more whether you saved or not.
Right.
Men are visual.
Yes, they are.
We're more visual.
You're more visual, and like you said, with the women, we're more psychological. When it comes to romance.
And what I'm saying is, and maybe we went around the bend to get here. Maybe if there's some compromise on both parts as far as the psychological and the visual, I think the big thing that when one person is up here and one person is down here, or if you find a common ground and compromise, that is a springboard for everything else in that area of your relationship. But if you're so staunch and so stubborn to where, my way of thinking coming into this is the only way of thinking, then you're setting yourself up for failure in that area.
Definitely.
Open-minded.
You got to be open-minded. You have to be.
Necessary.
And I see some comments on here telling you have to talk things through. I think D'Amica said have that talk before that aisle walk. And I agree with that. Buddy Gill says here, your marriage should be enjoyable. It should be fun. I often say that. You have to put into it what you want out of it. This applies to the bedroom. Put into it what you want out of it. Have fun with it. And I mean, it doesn't, you don't have to stay in the missionary position. I'm just going to say that, okay? You don't have to stay in the missionary position. Stop it. Because guess what? I said earlier, y'all better stay woke now.
I don't care what position you in.
And Brandy said it on the phone too. Because what happens is that, here we go. We were talking about how we absolutely have to, we have to be conscious of our spouses. We really do. Even if, okay, and I agree with you saying you don't want to force the one spouse into it that doesn't want to do it, but that's when the conversation comes in. That's when the talking and the discovering, the intimacy, discovering one another. Sometimes you may, and excuse me if this is going to sound raunchy, sometimes you may just have to sit in the bedroom naked, discovering each other's bodies, if you will. Come on now, I'm sorry. Just take the time out. That's intimacy too.
That's intimacy.
You don't, and it doesn't have to be the actual act.
It's
but
absolutely
intimacy. Come on, get to know your spouse, get to talk, and then that way, those inhibitions that they may have had can be, you can kind of, sweep them away, wash them away a little bit, or.
The ultimate form of intimacy, in a marriage, is when your spouse helps you to discover things about yourself.
There you go.
You know what I mean? And so maybe you didn't even know what you would enjoy or what you would like until you got with that person. I believe that there's certain people that bring certain things out of you. And it doesn't have to be just one person, but just certain people. You meet certain people that know how to do that. But it starts with just that openness and that willingness to communicate.
Yes.
And if you don't have that, then you're gonna be.
You don't have anything if you can't communicate.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My biggest thing, you will see. I'll put stands around my house. Ask questions. We got to talk.
Yeah.
I can't. And I like what I think as Carmen says here. And if you get a no to an ask, like if you ask, your spouse, would they want to participate in whatever, and she says, find out why. There could be trauma or insecurity about trying something new, and that's true.
Mm-hmm.
So then, and you go back into discovering one another, because hey, come on now, you could have been married for about 10 years and you didn't really realize that maybe that person had a issue with that because of a trauma or something, and they just didn't share, divulge everything.
I'm glad you said that, and I'm glad she posted that, because that's kind of what I was feeling, as far as you don't want to force and you don't want to badger, but definitely talk about it, because there's a why.
Right.
There's a why. And I do want to say this.
What you want to say?
And I've kind of been saying it, that it's necessary. But let me say it this way. You are not of the devil because you desire sex from your spouse. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's not something demonic.
Come on. We just saying just sex, or we talking about something, the other stuff?
Well, what I'm saying is sometimes you can be with someone who will try to make you feel like, oh, is that all you want? You know what I mean?
Oh, gotcha.
And so
God made us this way. Come on now.
There is nothing wrong with you.
Right.
And I'm telling you, because I've had to counsel people who thought something was wrong with them because they desired your spouse. And I said, well, would something be, no, it would be wrong if you wanted somebody else.
Right.
And so I think that we have demonized sex. We have made it something that is demonic, because in the church, sexual sin ranks off the charts. You know what I mean? And I remember back in the day, they used to make people get up and confess to the church certain things that happen behind closed. I would never do that. And I think it's we don't know how we damage people in the church.
True.
By saying, by going in people's bedrooms and saying what you can do and what you can't do.
Now you're talking about these are married people?
Well, we damage them for marriage.
Right, gotcha.
You know what I mean? Because even that issue should be handled behind closed doors.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing. In addition to that, or to add to that, I know actually when I first got married, I felt inhibited after I got married because you knew what you had engaged, and all eyes were on you when you came back to church. Mm-hmm. Oh, I know what you and the older ones. Oh, I know what you've been doing. Hello, stop! Don't do that. That's personal.
I mean,
I remember this one lady said she didn't even want to come back to church after she got married because she knew that she knew that the saints would know what she had been doing. I mean, but this is right, but this is of God. But see, that's what had been, thrown in our mind and instilled in us or whatever. And just like you talked about, the sexual sins or whatever. But here you go. Before you get married, when you gonna get married? After you get married, okay, when you gonna have kids? And then they're always like constantly asking you stuff about, your life or whatever, and just like really,
pressure.
Yes, that's it. That's it right there. Randy Glass, I see you on. Pastor Rick, I see you on. Thanks for watching. I see these men of God are on, and I do appreciate you joining us. Anybody else want to call in? 708-223-8953. You can join in on the conversation real time here. Misha says, if you're doing whatever he wants and you're not comfortable, then it ain't right. Interesting. Yeah.
That's my point.
Yeah. And that's good. Carmen says here, sometimes foreplay is necessary to get a yes to your ask. Whoa.
I think that's what you were talking about.
Yes, it is. Yes, we were right there. Right. I didn't even see this comment. She also says sometimes we are in our heads, and that's the hold up, versus if they're in the moment, then maybe it will be a yes. Okay. Carmen, I like you. How you doing? Thank you so much. That's perfect. Brandy says chores aren't all bad. Sometimes they need to be done to keep the household fresh and happy. Just like we make the other small sacrifices for each other when someone is important enough. I don't think the marriage bed should be exempt, just as long as your whole sex life isn't a sacrifice. Ooh.
You know what I think she's saying too? Also, put it on the calendar.
Ooh.
Make it a priority. You know what I mean? Because we make
you're not scheduling sex. You're not talking about scheduling that shit.
What's wrong with that?
So unromantic.
No, it's not.
Explain to me why you don't think
it's not romantic if you and I'm not saying schedule it, all
5:59.
Yeah.
Come on, babe, we gotta get
right. But it's a deliberate attempt to keep something alive and fresh.
Okay. I can see it in that
schedule
sense.
Everything else. And I'm not saying
not literally
do it mechanically.
Okay.
And I'm not saying it even has to be every Wednesday night or if that's okay with you, that's fine.
And whatever works in your home.
Right. But what I am saying is it's got to be deliberate and consistent enough.
Yeah.
To where it's alive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you can.
Yeah, you got to make it alive for sure.
If it's so few and far in between, then that's not enough.
Right.
It's not enough. It's got to be fresh. It's got to be alive. And I guarantee you it's going to keep your relationship on a certain
And level. I'm telling y'all better stay woke because, just stay woke. Carmen also says here, or strike a deal. I'll try something off your list if you will try something off mine. I like that. Buddy says here, some may be suffering because there is an element of selfishness in the bedroom with your spouse. If you seek to please your spouse, you will see to learn and understand things about your spouse. I like that. Another comment, selfishness should never be tolerated in the bedroom. Preferences maybe. Okay. Yeah. Somebody said, didn't David and Tamela Mann just make Essential album for couples? I didn't know that. Did they? I know TD Jakes had one out.
He did. And Fred Hammond has.
Just TD Jakes' voice.
I'm sorry. I don't want TD Jakes. I'm sorry.
He did have like a I can't think of the name of it. It was some years ago.
You know, Fred Hammond did one. I
Did
believe Israel Houghton. Either he did one or he announced that he was going to do one.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
I think that's okay.
Right. Yeah. I know we had some questions. Thanks for that reminder here. We are going to get into those because there are a couple of them that did come in. And I also want to talk about oral sex too. But I want to go to these questions. I want to go. Apostle, you okay over there?
I'm okay.
Okay. Breathe. All right. Let's see here. There are questions. Let's see. I don't know if I can say the names of them or not, but
somebody said, man, if I got to start scheduling stuff, we need to talk.
I kind of agree with that. And that's just me. Because
here's what I'm saying. Let me just clarify. Certain relationships, you're not going to have to do that.
Right.
But if there are certain relationships where when you start having and raising kids and you got two people who have two career-oriented jobs, they work in corporate America and then they're doing extra stuff and they're doing all this, sometimes it may come to that. And I'm saying that if it comes to that, be open to that, because that may be what you need. And it maybe that's only just for a season until it jump starts it back. You know what I mean? But you can get to a point to where you're doing so much and then you start growing apart and don't even know why. And then you realize that we haven't even connected.
Yeah.
You know?
Now here's my thing on that. And I'm going to read this comment. We're going to go into a couple of questions. Here's my thing on that. I think it's very important. And you're right, because we're in a fast-paced society and everybody's busy. Like you say, you may be working corporate, you may be one person here, there, and everywhere, but you got to keep and we may be saying the same thing. You got to keep that intimacy going. You have to get, come on, throughout the day when you see him, you touch him, get some, I'm a okay, I think I said we weren't going to really address personal stuff, but anyway, keep it live.
Absolutely.
Keep the fire there. If you got to walk past them, grab them a little bit. Just keep it going. Keep it spicy. Because you don't have to okay, smack dab in the middle of the day. Come on, let's go. It could be. Nice look. Okay, I'm going too far there, but. I'm trying. He's trying to reel me back in.
Reeling you back in.
It's 7:00 here yet? No. But no, seriously, you got to keep it spicy. So I'm just saying little things, nice little touch, a nice little peck or whatever, or what have you. And then that way, I think it'll keep it, keep it in the forefront, keep it right there. And then that way things won't get lost, I guess is what I'm trying to say. For you have to get to the scheduling. But if you got to go there, then like you said, be open to it. Okay, I can understand that. But keep that in mind what I said. Okay, y'all. Keep that fire going. Pastor Cece says something here on Facebook Live that I think I can just give her an offering. Please let me go back up to it. She says, GMA, Good Morning America, mentioned a study that found that women that climax have improved memory. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. I agree with that. How about that? I don't know if it's
and it probably make men forget. Go figure.
Oh my God.
I'm just playing.
Lord have mercy. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, we're praying with you, D'Amica. He's coming. Yes, he is, in Jesus' name. He's watching you too. Oh, somebody said that.
There was also a study.
Okay.
That said that, that women who climax are more in love than women who don't. And I think that's true.
Really?
I believe that's
Women
true.
who climax are more in love, you said?
I'm more in love
Than
within that relationship
women who
than
don't.
women who don't.
That is quite interesting. I need to look further into that study.
Yeah, and I can see the
I
relevance.
can, yeah, I can
you
see
know?
it too. I can definitely see it because, hey, you happy, you happy.
Well, I mean, honestly, because if she's just doing it out of a chore, we use that word chore just because he wants to get to a certain point and she's not satisfied in that area, then I can see the disconnect.
Yeah.
She can love him and she can care for him, but there's something that's missing.
Yeah.
And I think that's the point that they were trying to make.
Wow.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, this is getting interesting. And I know, let me look at a couple of questions here. Let's see. Ephesians 5:3 says, but among you there must not be even a hint of sexual immorality or of any kind of impurity, because these are improper for God's holy people. The question is, does this immorality and impurity include, and how does it apply to married couples? Apostle, is he here? Did he leave?
Asking me?
Did he leave the building?
You asking?
Yes.
Well, I think it's dealing with just about, even when you talk about the scripture, the married bed is undefiled. Let's look at that real quick, because I said I wasn't gonna do this, but let me look at that real quick. Hebrews 13:4. The marriage is honorable in all, and the bed undefiled, but whoremongers and adulterers God will judge. And I think when you pull in other stuff, the extracurricular stuff, that's what kind of defiles it.
Meaning other people, meaning pornography.
Right. And so if anything that you and your spouse does, as long as both of you are agreeable to it, I think it's okay.
Okay.
I believe it's okay.
Okay. All right. Hopefully that answered your question. And I'm not sure if I'm supposed to call these names the ones that were sent to us or not. So I'm going to not call your name. I'm just going to read your question. I have another one here. Yes.
Let me just add this. I don't know all there is to know. So some of this stuff y'all might be doing, I don't know that y'all are doing.
Don't tell them.
I'll put a disclaimer, because no, because I'm saying anything that you guys do that that y'all agree upon, it's okay. I don't know all the stuff that people are doing in their bedrooms. I don't know what people, I don't know what's the thing to do now.
He said the thing to do now. What is the thing to do now?
I'm just saying,
Right.
People are on. I was watching a documentary where and there was a woman who had attempted to murder her husband. I'm not trying to change the topic.
Ooh, that's really switched.
But she was saying to one of the investigators that her and her husband's sex life was not like any other's married couple's sex life. And yeah, they weren't having adultery, but they had pushed each other so far to the extreme to where it wasn't the norm. So they were bringing in like blades and knives and all of this stuff, coming out bloodied and scarred. You know what I mean?
Oh, that is so.
And they both consented to it.
Oh.
So I'm saying that's too far.
That's kind of crazy.
Because somebody can die.
Yes, for sure. And I'm sure somebody has died. Hey, look at this comment before we go to our next question. Brandy says here, she believes only 30% can experience, talking about women, of course, vaginal climax. And the other only clitoral. 60% of us have just been faking.
Who said that?
Brandy says I guess it was in response to Candy. So let me go back up. Candy said there's also a sad truth that a large majority of women very rarely experience orgasms. And Brandy says 30% experience it, but the other 60% have been faking. And the other experience clitoral.
I ain't gonna touch that. What I will say,
because that's another thing, though, Apostle, about the faking.
let me just say this though, and this may kind of glaze over the question with an answer.
We don't need to glaze.
But because I don't know about the faking.
This ain't no Dunkin' Donuts. You gonna glaze over something.
Let me just say this. I think even climax, male and female, there's a lot about men that women don't know. We're not Neanderthal men like y'all think we are. The older a man gets, if you don't appeal to his mind, there can be a problem in other areas.
I agree.
The older we get. And so I said that to say this, even with climax and orgasms or whatever you want to call it,
mm-hmm.
the mind is a huge part of that.
It is.
And so what I'm suggesting is that a woman who is in a relationship where that is a problem, then I think there's more exploration as it relates to her mind.
There you go.
That needs to take place, because the mind unlocks everything else.
It does.
In the body.
It does.
And so if it's just an act disconnected from any kind of emotional connection or any kind of laughter or any kind of, then there could be a disconnect between the action and then the intended response or ultimate goal, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, let's see here. There is a question on the floor. If a husband and a wife have completely different tolerance levels for kink, and kink is in quotes, meaning one is way more adventurous and the other is far more comfortable with missionary sex, is that marriage ultimately doomed? That's a good question, but we have a call on the line who I think maybe can answer this. A&D conversation.
Yes.
I knew it.
This is Dr. Hunt.
Yes, Dr. Hunt. I picked up in my spirit that it was you calling.
Did you pick that up in your spirit?
I did. I really did. After I read it, you wanted to call in. But yes.
I done missed that. I'm sorry I missed most of the show.
Oh, that's okay.
But I was scrolling through some of the comments.
Okay.
I don't y'all make me come down to that station with no belt.
Whooping everybody.
Whipping everybody. I'm a run.
Everybody down there need a whooping. Everybody calling me and need a whooping. Everybody, no, I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna run.
I'm just kidding.
Some of these folk on this timeline are like that whooping.
Yeah. Oh Lord, have mercy.
Why did I say that?
That's your son.
I'm trying to find the A&D conversation so I can see y'all.
Oh, okay.
And,
Brandy, help him out. He's trying to find us so he can see us.
A&D conversation.
Go to my timeline.
Y'all, I want to see y'all. There, I got it.
Okay. You know what?
I think I got it.
Are you on a landline or your cell phone, Dr. Hunt?
I'm on my cell phone. Do I need to be on the landline?
Could you? Because it's kind of hard to hear you.
Okay, well, let me readjust here.
Okay.
Is better? Is that better?
I think so. Let me see, because they're telling me they can't hear you.
Okay, how about now?
Yeah.
That's better?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, all right. So that was a question. Now, let me just make a statement.
Okay.
Out of mind. You know, the Bible is very silent on the subject of marital intimacy. The Bible is extremely silent. And I used to wonder as a young man, why was the Bible so silent on this? Why was there so much silence biblically as to what was acceptable in intimacy? And the only thing that I could come up with in the silence of it all is that it was meant to be an intimate relationship between the two married individuals. And they they would then know between the two of them. Because if idealistically, you have an unexperienced or inexperienced young man marrying an inexperienced girl.
Idealistically.
That's how it was idealistically. You had a young man who was a virgin and a young girl who was a virgin, and they two married, and then they would come together, the two of them, and learn the intimacy in marriage, you see. Well, it ain't like that. That is not the way that it is.
Right.
Now you got people coming into relationship with all kinds of experiences, you see.
And appetites.
Some of it downright demonic, you see. But they're coming in with all kinds of experiences, you see. I'm sorry. I hope I'm not taking up too much time. Am I okay?
Come on.
Yeah.
You good?
Okay. You remember the woman with the issue of blood?
Okay.
For 12 years. The Bible says that she had an issue of blood for 12 years. Well, and the Bible says that when she touched Jesus, she was whole of that plague. If you look at that word, plague, if you look at the word there, and I'm going to go over there real quick, if you guys will permit me.
What scripture is it?
Yeah, I want to look at that word in the Greek, the word plague there. Because Jesus told her, go your way and be whole of thy plague. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And just give me a second, okay?
Okay.
She had an issue of blood, and Jesus told her to and be whole of her plague. Right? So if you look at that word plague in the original Greek, it dealt with something that was very profound. People are doing all kind of stuff now. Even then, that word dealt with a sexual act. I'm trying to pull it up now. Y'all guys, let me talk until I pull it up. That word, Apostle, if you could pull it up real quick and look at that. I hope I'm
plague.
Helping out. Plague. The whole of thy plague.
Mastix.
Mastix, and it meant a whip. Through the idea of contact. Literally, the Roman flagellum for criminals, figure A, disease, plague, and all this, what that word plague meant. But then it also meant to whip somebody, especially for sexual purposes. To whip somebody, especially for sexual purposes. You got people now with all kinds of sexual experiences, and then they come into a marriage with somebody who doesn't have the same level of sexual experiences that they had.
Right.
So quite naturally, you're gonna have some problems.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have some cultural clashes.
So what do you do? So, what
well, what you need to do is some of this stuff you got to discuss beforehand. See, so that person you get to say, that's nasty. I ain't finna do that.
Okay.
Hello. You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying that person may feel that way.
Right.
I had a couple come to me in counseling, They wanted to know was certain things, a certain particular act was, doable in the bedroom. They asked me. And I told them, I said, well, I'm not the person to ask. I said, because first of all, asking me puts me in the bedroom as a referee. I'm not your referee. I should not be in your bedroom over in the corner with a whistle, blowing the whistle every time you do something that I think is foul. You see.
Okay.
So it's really a real fine line. The way you're dealing with it is this. Us leaders got to be mindful when people are getting married, that we take them to marital counseling, premarital counseling, so that these people can have these discussions. Send them away to talk about that, or have them to talk about that. That's an issue that needs to be discussed, because if this woman is experienced and this man is not, or this man has had certain experiences that this woman hasn't, and then he's expecting that when he comes into his marriage covenant, and she said, oh no, I'm not going there. The Bible is silent about it for a reason, because it's designed to be an intimate thing between the two people, you see. And so that's my take on it. I hope I ain't messed up no plans.
Okay. No, you were fine.
Now, there was a specific question that was asked.
Yes.
That y'all asked me. What was that question?
Let's see. Let me get back to it. It was, if a husband and a wife have completely different tolerance levels for kink, meaning one is way more adventurous and the other is far more comfortable with missionary sex, is that marriage ultimately doomed?
No, it's not doomed.
Okay.
No, why would it be doomed? The only reason why it would be doomed if sex was the only thing that they together for.
Right.
Right.
If sex is the only thing that they're together for, then of course it's doomed. But if sex is not the only thing that this marriage is good for. Personally, I wouldn't want to marry a woman, or wouldn't want a woman to marry me that it was just about sex.
Right.
And that, that sex is good. That's it. I'm a bum, but the sex is good.
But you have that though, right? Excuse me. You have that, right?
Of course.
Yes.
I'm a low down skunk, but the sex is good.
But the sex is good.
Talk about it.
Yeah. You see, I'm not a provider, but the sex is good.
Right. Yeah, just like I was like that movie, About Last Night? I don't know if you guys saw that or not. But yeah, they weren't married, but they were seeing each other, this couple, I think it was Kevin Hart, I forgot the girl's name. And they would just engage in was sex all the time. And then they eventually kind of broke up or whatever, and they were arguing all the time. And then they eventually get back together at the end of the movie, and they moved in together or whatever. But yeah, it was like, to me, that's what the basis of it was.
That's kind of what I've been trying to say.
If you plan on being married to someone, if you plan on, if there is if your heart is towards being with this person and growing old with them, you're going to come to a time in your life where sex is not as important.
Right.
You see, I'm not saying it would ever be unimportant. But
right.
You'll come to a time where it's not as important as it was when you was in your 20s and 30s and 40s. You're wiser, you're older. You guys are together. So I don't think that the marriage is doomed because of that. Because I think that there could be a happy medium in there somewhere that they can come and compromise and but sex, if sex is the only glue that is holding your relationship together, it ain't no good glue. It ain't gorilla glue.
Doc, it ain't no really good glue.
He said it ain't Gorilla Glue.
I've used Gorilla Glue.
Gorilla Glue. Oh, right.
It's Elmer's.
It's Elmer's glue.
Yeah, that's Elmer's.
Hey, Dr. Hunt, can you answer this question real quick before we wrapped up? There's another one I want to ask you.
Okay.
The question is oral sex or mutual masturbation between a married couple a sin?
Is it a sin?
Who asked that?
I'm not giving the name. Somebody threw, we were asked questions before the show, so we were trying to address them. So
Okay.
I'm trying to get the answers out of you before we get you off the phone.
Let me answer that this way.
Okay.
Somebody asked me one time in counseling, was oral sex okay in their marriage? And my answer to them was, I am not a referee.
Excuse me.
I have no right to be in your bedroom. And so now what you've done, you pulled me into your bedroom and you basically told me what's going on there. And now you expect me to sit over in the corner with a striped shirt on and a whistle and blow the whistle every time you do something that I don't think is correct.
Wow.
Right.
Double dribble.
I would agree.
You know?
I would agree with that. You're right.
Lord.
Yeah. So my point is that intimacy is exactly what it is. It's intimacy. Listen, when I pray, I prefer praying. I'm a prayer warrior. That's what I do. I'm an intercessor. That's what I do.
Yes.
When I pray, I prefer it just being me and God.
Right.
Me and God. You know why? Because I can tell God whatever I want to tell him. I don't have to worry about someone else listening to my conversation with God and judging me based upon how I'm praying. Corporate prayer is wonderful. Group prayer is wonderful. See, what we having now is we having group chat over the phone.
See?
Ooh. Ooh.
See?
See, that's what we do. I'm sorry, but that's what we're doing.
Yes.
That's why I don't care what y'all doing.
And so we should not really be having group sex over the phone. What we really should be doing is sex between a man and his wife, or a woman and a husband in their bedroom.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
When they're there, that's them in there. I don't want to know about it.
That is so true. That's good stuff right there. So basically,
that's all.
Yeah.
So there has to be some conversation. There has to be some communication. There has to be, because you got people marrying, and some people a little wild, and they've been wild for a long time. They got introduced to some wild things. You see.
Yes.
You got somebody who was approved. You know, somebody who wasn't experienced. And then you got this inexperienced person come together with this wildly experienced. I would want to be that man. I would not want to be the man to come together with a woman that she done been around the block a few times, and then I'm married her. I don't know Jack. See, you got some issues here. That's going to be some problems. So that's why, people who are compatible got to get together. They got to have some conversation. Something got to come up where they can have a chance to talk this stuff out. Because you don't spring this stuff out on marriage night, and said, you know what I want? I want to tie you up. And I'm like a comedian. If you hit me, you might get hit back.
Okay, Dr. Hunt. I can't take no more, Dr. Hunt. I'm trying to.
Y'all pray for me. Thank y'all for letting me join the show. God bless.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Take care.
Okay. I hope I didn't mess up nothing.
No, you were right on time and perfect. We appreciate the responses, and they're enjoying you too.
Okay. God bless.
God bless.
He said, if you hit me, I'm going to hit you back.
Hit you back. I cannot. Okay. Guys, we ended up, just so you'll know, the first live feed, I think it was timed out. So we added another one. And I know a lot of you came back into that. So I want to thank you guys this evening for joining us. Oh my goodness. In the extra comments that came in, and you were agreeing with what Dr. Hunt was saying. Elder McGee said here, relationships built on sex will soon burn out, just like their drive. And I agree. Yeah, this is there. Yeah, I don't know. I can't even get out of this. Can you help me get out of this so we can wrap it up tonight?
have the conversation.
Yes.
Preferably before you get married.
Okay.
You know, communication is key. Don't be afraid to explore verbally first. Talk about what expectations are, what your experience is, what you want to do, what you don't want to do, and then go from there. But let me just add this, Dr.
But what
Hunt.
about you already married? Because you got a lot of them on here that's already married.
Well,
still communicate.
Still communicate, and make sure that there's, sex is not the only thing.
But it helps. No, go ahead.
It definitely helps. It does. It does. But it's not the only thing. What about companionship? Because the sex should also help the companionship, and the companionship should help the sex.
Yeah. And I think my takeaway tonight is the intimacy. As you were kind of talking and wrapping up, that's very key. It's very key, and it goes well beyond the actual act itself. So let's keep that intimacy, keep it alive. We're getting out of here. We kind of went over a little bit tonight. We didn't start exactly at 5:00 tonight, but our producer is very nice to us, so we thank him. Thank you guys for your participation. We're going to, on Thursday, I have no clue what we're talking about on Thursday. We have so many, and guys, thank you. We were flooded with topics on this past weekend. Yeah. So thank you.
It's going to have to be a good one.
Keep them coming.
It's going to be a good one.
It's going to be a good one. How about a part two? No, I'm just kidding. We'll figure it out. We'll let you guys know. We're going to get out of here. You just make sure you stay tuned to the post, and we'll let you know what our discussion is. So again, thank you for joining. Thank you for your input and your conversation. How you guys like our backdrop here? Let us know what you think about the setting on tonight. So as we get out of here, you have been listening to Mind, Body, and Soul, an A&D conversation.
Body and soul, an A&D conversation. An A&D